Welcome to the Weekly Spark from Ignite Youth Group out of Eastgate Baptist Church, where we try to keep Christianity on fire in a world that tries to snuff it out.
Happy Teen Spark Day! I hope you're having a great week. This week we're going to talk about the attribute of God being eternal. And I like this attribute because I can't wrap my brain around it, but I believe it by faith. And sometimes those are the best attributes of God for us to spend time learning about, because they remind us that we are mortal, we are finite, our brains are never going to calculate what God calculates, but that's okay, because that's God's job, not ours, right? We don't need to be all powerful, we don't need to be all knowing, but God is, and that's his job. So let's jump right into it. Several verses about God being eternal. The Bible says that God is eternal. And when we talk about eternal, we're talking about God never starting to exist, and he'll never stop existing. He is always eternally all of his attributes. He's not bound by space or by time. He does not exist. He exists beyond the realm of time, rather. So he exists outside of time. So Deuteronomy 33:27 says, "The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them." So God is eternally their refuge, and he is eternally their everlasting arms. I love that ties together the fact that God is eternal, but that he is eternally all of his attributes, right? So then another thing that we see about God being eternal is that God sees all. So in Psalm 90, verse 2, it says, "Before the mountains were brought forth, or even thou hast formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God." Before God made the world, God existed. We can't imagine what would exist before us, right? And I know, like, my younger brother hates pictures of us kids before he was born. He's like, "You took pictures without me." And we're like, "You didn't exist." And yet God has always existed. You couldn't have a picture without God being in it, right? And another thing about God being eternal is that God is self-sufficient. And perhaps this is one of the most comforting. I don't know, God being all of his attributes is pretty comforting, but God being self-sufficient is so comforting to me, because I am not self-sufficient. I need a lot of things to survive in this world. I need a lot of people around me to help me make it through life, right? And yet God is self-sufficient. And in Isaiah 40:28-31, it says, "Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." God, the everlasting God, is never weary. And yet he offers power, he offers strength to those, and we've talked about this verse before, right? He offers power and strength to those that need it, to those that are weary, when all we need to do is walk and not faint, when we need to run and not be weary. Life can be so busy, and it can be hard to stay afloat. Sometimes you feel like you are running, and yet God is never weary. And so he offers that power, that strength, that wisdom for every day, because God is eternal. He is self-sufficient. He's never started being. He doesn't have his own creator. He is creator, and he will never stop being. He will always be eternal, and yet we will die, we will faint, we will get weary, but God doesn't. And so I hope this can be just a small encouragement, just a quick encouragement about how our God is eternal and how that can be such an encouragement to us. I love you. I hope you have a good day.